Hello, this is Magdala with a time for God. Hope your day has been wonderful. Today is the 17th day of May, 2024. Yesterday we started a new series talking about the challenges of serving God. We say we're going to talk about 5 different things in this part. Yesterday we talked about fear, which was the fifth thing we talked about on the list. We had the challenge of opposition, the challenge to commit, the challenge of the temporal things, the challenge to grow, and the challenge of fear. And yesterday we talked about the challenge of fear. Today I'd like us to talk about the challenge of opposition. Fear is huge, but so is opposition. Opposition is very scary because we're creatures of habits. We like to be comfortable wherever we find ourselves. So having people oppose us, having things oppose us, lots of times we shy away from that. Now, what are some things that can, form an opposition to you and me? I like to talk about 2 of those things. One is self-will. The second one is self-centeredness. They're 2 different things. Self-will is that willpower to do what you want to do and to stay on it. A lot of people want it. Most of us don't have it. Some of us are working at it. Self-will. And that is a challenge to serving God. Because faith is the assured expectation, according to Hebrews 11, verse 1. Faith is an assured expectation of the things we hope for, and it's an evident demonstration. So without the demonstrative part, you got no faith. So self-will is definitely needed to please God right, because it's impossible to please God right without faith, and it's impossible to have faith without works. So either way, it's a challenge. And then the second thing I want us to talk about, like I mentioned, is going to be self-centeredness. But why is self-centeredness a challenge to serving God? Well, sometimes because you think too much about yourself. You're too concerned about you and everything that has to do with you and how you feel and how it needs to be. You have to be ready to open up, to see from other perspectives, especially from God's viewpoint. To serve God, God must have a seat at your table. I know sometimes it's hard and it's like your ego comes into play. But recognizing that as a challenge is a great starting place. That means you're ready. And with all challenges, there are endless opportunities. So the 2 things we talk about today is being self-centered as a challenge to serving God, and being in self-will, the lack thereof, is a challenge. Sometimes you decide, like I've started exercising several times, and then zoom, fall back down. Some people decided to quit habits that they knew were wrong, and the desire to do it. They give it their best to an extent, and then they lack the will to go on. So those are challenges. But God urges us to trust Him with all our hearts and not to lean on how we understand it. And why is that essential at this point? Well, because after you've tried so many times and failed, it becomes your norm. You expect to fail. So you live your life as though knowing it's a waste of time trying. But trying is not a waste of time. You have to trust in Jehovah and keep pushing, because service to God, you need faith. And for faith to be real, there has got to be works. I hope this was helpful. I would be very happy if you would share with me your experience on the challenge of opposition. Opposition being a challenge of serving God. And today we talked about two parts: self-centeredness and self-will. I'll be happy if you share your individual experience on this topic on this platform. This is Magdala with A Time for God. It's been wonderful being with you. Have a wonderful rest of the evening. Bye-bye.